Ladies, stop having sex with men. Stop having sex with men. And let me tell you why. I know many rich men. I've dated many rich men. I have kids by rich men. I know more rich men than most women, very wealthy rich men. And when these men were screwing me over when I decided to divorce my ex-husband, I'll tell you the story that one of them told me. That back in history, there was a time when we did have a matriarchy. And the problem with that is that women stopped having sex with men, so then they had to buy prostitutes. And that's why rich men will never allow us to have a matriarchy, because then they know we'll stop sleeping with them. So the greatest weapon we have during the next 4 years is to stop sleeping with men. If we stop sleeping with men, we beat them at their game. We beat them at their game if we stop sleeping with them. Because that's the very thing that they do not want to happen. The very thing men don't want to happen is for us to stop sleeping with them. So any intelligent, educated, hardworking woman, the biggest thing you can do to put men in their place in the next 4 years is to stop dating them and to stop sleeping with them. Because that is their greatest fear. That is their greatest fear. So it's that simple, ladies. Stop sleeping with men. That is the biggest act of rebellion that we have against men in the next 4 years. I promise you. That is the biggest thing rich men are afraid of. So if rich men are afraid of that, imagine what middle class men think. Imagine what middle class men that don't even have money or the resources like rich men do. If rich men are that scared of women being in power, imagine how scared the middle class men are. Just something to think about, ladies.
You know what I'm starting to realize? Snow bunnies are crazier than black women. Maybe. I don't know. We need to do a wellness check on our white men, on our snow hairs, and see what's happening out in these streets. Because if this is what y'all have been enduring through since the beginning of time, of women that are feeling overly privileged and compelled to align themselves so much with feminism that they're literally hurting themselves by saying to not sleep with men, y'all got it bad. Y'all got it bad. Now I see why men started the Men Going Your Own Way group. Not that I would ever be part of such things, but I can understand it. I can understand why snow hairs were the first ones to start being passport bros. I understand why they said that they no longer wanted to deal with these overly liberal, super feminist women that basically weaponize their box against you. Now, let's be clear. Nobody is begging. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's enough box in the world to where nobody is really tripping about it. Trust me, there's so many women that's willing to bust it down for a real one. So for these older snow bunnies, I don't even know what you would call them, for these snow wolves or whatever, right, that feel like they hurting you by no longer letting you get that old tapped out box. For some reason, we're not tripping about it. It's like, listen. If it's like 7 to 6 million of y'all that just so happen to want to jump out the window, and I'm speaking figuratively when I say jump out the window, I mean, like, really go crazy and just, it's so dumb. And honestly, I think that there's bigger issues at play. I don't even think that these people really feel the way that they say that they feel. I believe that this is them venting about things that's going on in their life that was already problematic. And they're using this to justify the fact that either A, they wasn't getting picked anyway, or B, they just super frustrated about life and other things that's happening, that they're looking at somebody to basically take it out on. And the only thing that they could do is jump on TikTok and try to mobilize amongst each other and say, hey, we're going to march for nothing, or we're going to get mad because now we get to usher in a new level of prosperity. But then that just still means that nobody's really checking for us. And so now we're going to feel some type of way and we're going to go off and we're going to try to punish men, or we're going to try to get other women that actually have access to join us along. Let me tell you something. They're not joining y'all. They're not joining y'all. Listen, ain't nobody tripping off y'all. If y'all want to go and do Munch the Bot Chronicles, then we cool with that. Ain't nobody tripping about it. But I will tell you definitively that most women, they want it more than men. That's number one. Number two, they not aligning with y'all because it's already hard enough to get a good man as it is in their mind. And then number three, basically you just thinning out the herd so you make it easier for them to get what they want. And just because the guy busts you down don't necessarily mean that he's trying to be with you long term. And so you trying to weaponize the box, man, there's so many different options nowadays. It's a whole world out here, a whole world. And so I'm not tripping about it. But more importantly, I believe that the Crash Dummies and the Crash Out is on an epic level. I mean, this is nothing that I've ever seen before in my 42 years on this earth. I've never seen a level of Crash Out and Crash Dummies that we're witnessing right now. And it is a glorious thing because now you got all of these closet feminists that was basically pretending to be on your side, but in reality, they actually never liked you in the first place. And so I've always been of the impression that it's better to find out what people truly feel than allow for them to be chameleons around you. Because letting them be chameleons around you, it will cost you dearly, heavily later on. Because those are the ones that try to weaponize child support court against you. Those are the ones that try to weaponize family court against you. Those are the ones that's looking to take you to the bank and the cleaners and the ones that talk about you behind your back. And so basically what you're doing is filtering out the undesirables. That's what I call them. The undesirables are people with bad attitudes. They're chameleons. They're the ones that's going to actually finesse you later on. And they talk a good game. They play a good game. They, will act like that they on your side. But the minute that you disagree with them, which I believe that healthy disagreement is good. I never want to be in an echo chamber where somebody just completely agrees with every single thing that I do. Now, that don't mean that just jump out the window and start being disagreeable with me just for the sake of being disagreeable. You're going to find yourself on the outside of the door right there. But for people that just, for the sake of agreeing, just agree just because they don't want to run into no problems, those type of people I don't necessarily need around me because they can become very problematic later because they harbor all of this resentment. In reality, they feel differently. And then that's when they start saying crazy stuff to their friends or online or whatever like that. But for all of these people that feel like they need to mobilize, and the men, I'm really disappointed in y'all. For certain guys that's been dealing with certain women long term, and y'all allowing for these women to emasculate y'all, or y'all jumping out the window because I seen the Baltimore mayor where his city is absolutely in shambles. And it's funny because the minute that I reacted to the Baltimore mayor, people started sending me all of this stuff about him and all of this dirt and stuff. And I'm not interested in killing this character because I believe that people have the right to feel whatever they want to feel. And so I'm not on the expose campaign, but I will say that it is sad to see these people be crash dummies and not actually do their research. And for a politician to simp out like that is amazing. That junk is crazy to me. But we in a new age, in a new era where the crash out is real and it's getting worse every single day. And to see how people are reacting to this stuff is amazing. I just never thought that I'd see this in my lifetime. I thought that people were gracious losers, but apparently they are sore losers. And so I'd like to be a sore winner. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Tap into the Patreon. We got Stock Club coming up. Also, Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. And then last but not least, make sure you get your tickets to come and kick it with me in person in Detroit, December 14th. It's going to be lit. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. But stay tuned.